to Literary Dialogs with Nina Serrano, bringing you wonderful poets and writers who focus on peace, justice, and a healthy planet. I'm your host, Nina Serrano. My guest today is Tony Aldarondo. Welcome, Tony Aldarondo.
Thank you, Nina. It is a pleasure to be here.
Did you bring some poems?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well, we'd love to hear them. You know, before I met you, I'd heard a lot about you. The poets were all talking about you. They were saying, namely Q.R. Hand and Tom Stanton, and they were very excited, and they loved your poems so much, and they liked you so much. And they mentioned that you were also an actor, a Shakespearean actor. So I was very eager to meet you, and I certainly wasn't disappointed. And I'm really happy to be able to share your poems with our audience today. What did you bring?
Today I brought a few poems for you guys to listen to. And yes, we do have some mutual friends that are just legends in the Bay Area and in the poetry world. I love QR, I love Tom Stanton, and I just want to, if they can hear me out there somewhere, thank them so much for even letting me have this opportunity. Thank you so much, Nina. So I'll begin with a poem called Heroes. I speak in lingua franca. Local poets are my heroes. The art exhibition of the dead in my head are Picasso's, Frida Kahlo's, and Miro's. I've got the spirits of dead poets in my head. When I close my eyes, I see them. Like last night, they sold out an open mic at the Oakland Coliseum. Miguel Piñero tocando lo cuero, Pirito Mas reciting verses. Frida Kahlo pintando, Frida Kahlo on stage. With her colores, her love disperses. With her colores, her love disperses. I've got Celia Cruz y Hector Lavoe living on the salsa side of my mind, where the salsa caliente is in the air y la musica's not hard to find. Where Celia y Hector don't really care that they're constantly on rewind, played over and over and over again until they blow my mind. Until they blow my mind. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's a fun one for me to do all the time.
I love it too, because it mentions all the poets of my generation. Even though I'm a generation ahead of you, I felt such a bond because of this, that we share so many of the same heroes, like P.D. Thomas. So these were colleagues, these were friends when we were part of a pioneering movement of the bilingual code switching poetry. And they were tremendous pioneers, and you really honor them with your work that picks up these traditions and takes it further into that next generation that came behind us, which were the rappers, and they called themselves spoken word artists. Yes. The next thing, because my generation was still tied to the printed page. We were experimenting to break out of the page with our bringing performance into our performance of poetry. But you've taken it all the way, and it's marvelous, and it's exciting, and it's so humanitarian. It's so full of love of the listener. And I wonder if that has anything to do with your actor background, your theater background.
Probably the performance side, I'm sure does. And it's just we talk about the love of the people. We knew Celia Cruz. I read with P.D. Tomas 3 times in Berkeley. I had the opportunity in the early 90s I had friends at the Puerto Rican club in Berkeley, Khalil Fantuzzi and that whole group. And I got the opportunity to read with him and to actually know him and his wife. And it was just an honor and a blessing. And yeah, so he's with me forever. His picture's framed in my living room. I love the man, and I love Celia Cruz and salsa music and all these things I write about. They're just ingrained in me or my family. So and just the acting side is just I'm so passionate, it just comes out. But that's just a part of the performing, and it just happens sometimes. Yes, and And I, you know, as a younger kid, I did a little rapping like all of us did back then. And I love to rhyme. So you'll see a lot of rhyme in my stuff.
Well, that's a great cue for the next poem. Let's hear a lot of rhyme.
You got it. I want. I want, I want, I want. I want what I cannot have nor cannot see. I want the world and eternity. I want to run wild and be free. Don't want no one bothering me. I want a ticket on a JetBlue plane. I want to break up without feeling pain. I want every human suffering from a mental health illness to please stop being called insane. I want to know how homelessness could exist in a rich city like this, where most live every day like it's a second Christmas. I want back my old neighborhood. I want back my youth. I want to be angry. That's the truth. I want some justice. I want no lies. I want no funerals. I want no cries. I want all men to experience the blind. I want them to see that beauty's in the mind. I want all my memories. I want all my knowledge. I still want to know why I couldn't afford college. I want to know who, what, where, why, and when the good life begins and the hood life ends. I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful poem.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you.
So you said in your youth you were a rapper.
Yes, yes.
Like, were you part of the New York Cafe, or how was the scene you came out of in New York?
No, actually, my youth was, you know, that was a little before me. I was in the 80s, but my father was in the Army. So we lived all over. I lived in Germany, Georgia, all over, back to Georgia, back to Germany, San Francisco on the Army base, New York, Puerto Rico, New York, Puerto Rico. We traveled like crazy, you know, and I had a little time in the Navy. But back to the rapping days, it would just be all over. You would find someone that rapped with you and have a little group and do a little tape. That's just something I've always did, and I almost can do anytime, any place, anywhere. But don't ask me right now. Yeah, but I just love rhyming. I mean, even when I heard Dr. Seuss, you know, I go back to the Sugar Hill Gang. Just love it. You know, I just conga drums. That's just in me. So if you have a conversation with me, I just rhyme all the time. Yeah, even that rhymed.
Yes, even that rhymed.
But
so how did you get involved in theater?
Theater, I got involved. Well, you know, it was City College of San Francisco. I remember we read Our Town in high school, and I was really into it. And my teacher said you should do acting, but I didn't do it. But when I went to City College, I had a friend, and she convinced me to sign up with her. And my beginning acting class, wonderful teacher named Gloria Weinstock at City College. You know her? You know, yeah, small world. And actually, my first play was with a young man, well, grown man that you know now, Hansford Prince. So my very first play was a paid play with real professionals. I mean, I had people in the audience like Danny Glover, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. So I got the acting bug in my early 20s, and it really never stopped. And then I just loved it. And, you know, it began with theater. So theater, you know, you memorize your lines, you get, a family of people, and you become a family of actors. And from that, I did the Shakespeare Festival for like 2.5 years. So, and then I taught theater too. We had a midnight Shakespeare, which was through the Parks and Rec department. I did Shakespeare in the Park show. I toured throughout California. It was through the Rex and Park department through, her name was Margot Hall. And the title's Midnight Shakespeare, but it was for after school program kids in Hunters Point. And it was fantastic because I directed shows, and then they got to travel in Northern California at schools. So it was great. The kids got a stipend. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, you're making me all reminisce to the good old days, but yeah.
When there was such a thing as stipends and
yes, kids, what are those
grants and all these wonderful projects.
Yes, yeah.
May we see them again.
And the national, the NEA, exactly.
Again.
Hopefully we will, because they're going away, aren't they? The NEA grants. I taught theater in the Tenderloin also for about 1.5 years. Yeah.
Without them, the arts can't flourish. But they may return because with this pandemic, they're getting the idea of pouring money into things. You know, that like that people need money,
Yes.
and just the notion of just giving it to them has now entered the national thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it maybe it started with those two silly, the $1,200 checks that
Right.
but which is so stingy for the
Right.
richest country in the world and for the crisis of 40 million unemployed. But they're getting the idea that the money should be used for the people.
We need this for kids. We need all those after school programs, and especially the arts is so important. It makes children so happy, and it helps them work in groups, and it's makes them become better adults.
So what other poems did you bring?
Oh, I've got a ton. Here we go. I'm gonna read this one to you. This is called "Who Am I?" Who am I? Who are you? Do I know me? Do you know you? Do any of us even want to know? Or are we just afraid? Afraid of the truth. Some say the truth can really hurt. Others say the truth will set you free. Whatever that means. Who am I? Am I the weak father who walked out on his wife, gave up on life, looked his little girl in the eye and said, goodbye? Who am I? Am I the bastard delinquent child my mama couldn't handle? The good boy gone bad, the bad man gone mad? A strung out dope fiend in a rush to reach the pearly gate? Am I Catholic, Baptist, gay, or am I straight? Who am I? Will I find out too late? Am I a santero, conguero, a taíno chief, or just some Puerto Rican spick filled with grief? Am I high? Am I low? Or just some guy you call bro? Yell, yo! I have a name too, you know. And is it true? Am I the illegitimate son of a Puerto Rican bro? I don't think so. Who am I? Where am I to go? Am I a part of the new status quo with a new revelation? And what shall be my occupation? Who am I? Can anyone save me? Or if I reach out my hands for help, will you just enslave me? Who am I?
The eternal question. So here I am, 85, and I was listening to that poem last night because I watched the tape of you at a reading at Bird and Beckett, a wonderful reading.
Mm.
And as you were saying some of those lines, I would try to answer them as maybe other people do when they're listening to the poem. And I'd realize the answers would always change. You know, being 85, you have a really long view of who am I? You know, how would I have answered it in this decade or that decade or the other? And it's an ever-changing question. Have you found that?
It is. You know, and this poem I've written well past a decade ago, but it does change. And then some of these questions I asked 10 years ago, I know the answers to, but then I have new questions that I have the answers to them, you know, and it's ever changing. You are correct.
And have the answers changed over the years of what you would answer?
Absolutely. And it's just recently I discovered like what my passion is or what my passions are. You know, I really never knew, but I have some friends that are 20 years older than me. They still don't have any, or they still don't know. You know, I mean, I could really answer, I'm a poet. You know, I really never knew exactly what I wanted to do until really almost about a year ago. And
Really?
I've been writing like crazy. I started in the 90s and I really stopped for a long time. And then, you know, then life happened, you know, so life happened. This, you know, there was different things. So I'm just getting my act together. And Yeah, even you can get in your 40s and not know who you still are, you know. And I have friends, we go to lunch or dinner and they still don't know what their passions are. And we talk about this question. And this is a great question. It's a great conversation piece because the question is ever changing. Sometimes it's who
And
am I and it's why am I that? You know what I mean? It could be a negative thing that you are in your life, and you could sit there, look in the mirror and go, I know who I am today. I know what I did yesterday, and why am I this? You know, who am I? You know, when I go, am I
who
a
am
dope
I?
fiend in a rush to reach the pearly gate? You know, these questions. Am I a future poet? Am I a poet now? Who am I? Am I a sad-faced clown? Am I a sad man? Am I a happy person? Am I angry? You know, and we can ask this question every time, about an hour after we have our coffee every morning. Who am I? You know? Yeah, it's an interesting poem because I could keep going and keep going with it, and it's almost hard to tell yourself when to stop writing. But that's, you know.
Yes, that is always the very hard question. So when you wrote this poem, Who Am I? And you found the answers kept changing. How did it evolve? And that was 10 years ago that you wrote this poem that has endured and is still a very useful and viable poem. So what happened a year ago that let you know that, yes, you are a poet?
You know, a lot of things. Well, and then that particular poem, I was getting people from different parts of my family. Who am I? Am I? This is my uncle. This is my cousin. This is this person. This is the guy up on the 15th floor. You know, when I go, am I a santero? The musician's a conguero. You know, am I a this or that? And it's people that mostly is the immediate family, or in my building or my neighborhood. And then life happens, and then things happen. And then next thing you know, you're sitting in a hospital with tubes all over you because of cancer. So, you know, I don't really talk about it a lot, but I will say cancer, I became, disabled with the body broken and a lot of stuff. I had time to do, my passion. You know, I was always so busy and running around and this and that. So then life happens and you get slowed down and you go, wow, man, I could write now. Good, I could write. Maybe I can't type, but I sure can write right now. So kids, I mean, you focus, you can't do all the hanging out stuff you used to do. You have two wonderful kids. So, you start to straighten up and fly right. So, yeah. Who am I? I'm a great dad and a okay poet.
Well, that's certainly true. What other poems did you bring?
Here we go. I would love to read this other piece for you. Palo Santo. The Palo Santo tree is found in Ecuador and is the only tree in the world that dies to give life. And as it burns, it nourishes us with an aromatic treasure that provides healing energy for the mind, body, and spirit. So I burn Palo Santo in 3 sticks and wave them in my right hand in 7 circles next to my right ear to invite the good news in to the 4 corners of each room in my house. And when all my prayers are said and done and the Ecuadorian smoke settles, I let the healing of El Palo Santo begin. And again, I thank Mother Earth 3 times for the trees, for even in death, she gives life. For even in death, she gives life.
That's a beautiful poem.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is a prayer.
Yeah.
It is a prayer itself, describing a prayer.
Since we're still on prayers, I'm going to take you into the church of a poem. I baptized myself in Bacardi last night before I put a pen in my hand. And it's been quite some time since I've stepped inside the church of a poem. And I'll tell you that baptism Bacardi had me feeling some kind of way. I felt like I was balancing on a high wire while flipping words with infinite syllables like pancakes, swinging on a flying trapeze. Oh, it's been quite some time since I've stepped deep inside the church of a poem. And there are days and nights I never want to leave. What I seen inside my mind's ring last night were 2 writing wrestlers discussing with love their opposite sides of the spectrum with pride. inside my gray matter where I don't hide the fact that for some time things didn't really matter. But I baptized myself in Bacardi last night before I put a pen in my hand and realized that it's been quite some time since I've stepped deep inside the church of a poem, where praises go up and blessings come down, and sometimes sacred verbs can get twisted and burn sacred nouns to the ground. Now as I read, I let Palo Santo burn inside the room of this Zoom as I remind myself it's been quite some time since I've stepped deep inside the church of a poem.
And there is such a thing as the church of a poem. There are some poems you can really walk into and be inside of.
That's right. That came quick. This poem really, I wrote it really quickly. This poem, I think I wrote really like quick, almost like within a half an hour.
It's a wonderful poem.
Thank you.
I know you've spent a lot of time with Shakespeare, and I wonder if you could tell me about that time, but also talk about his influences on you, and maybe you have a poem that illustrates that or you feel that relates to that.
Oh God, I just love reading Shakespeare. And I was in the San Francisco Shakespeare Festival. How did I fall in love? You know, it was one of those things like on a dare. Like I was doing theater at City College. It was, and the San Francisco Shakespeare Company was holding auditions, and we went to audition. But and I loved Brando at the time. It was a big Brando thing, and Brando had the DVD out, Julius Caesar, and I just went on a dare, and I got the audition, got the call back. I did the audition, made the first call, got the call back for the second. Then I got in, and I played Feste in Twelfth Night. And after that, I did Midsummer Night's Dream, Thespy. I did Intersection for the Arts. And I just loved his, you know, I think it was the iambic pentameter that I learned, and it had the beat to it. And it was really cool and catchy. And once I got, and I just loved it. And then, I mean, because it had that flow to it, but not only that, he did, you know, tragedies and comedies, and there was a lot of love. And I just loved our workshops. And there's a director, I love him so much. His name is Dan Chumley. He was a part of the San Francisco Mime Troupe. He's all kinds of stuff. And he's everything in a bag of chips. I tell you, that guy was wonderful. So sometimes it's the people that influence you in your life that make stuff fun. And sometimes it's that one person who can get you to do something and make it enjoyable. Then you fall in love with it, and then you're on your own. So that after that, you know, I could just take any Shakespeare book or play and read it. And he's influenced me in writing some stuff in his way. And I do have a book. I don't have it on me now, but there is some stuff that I write in the Shakespearean form. And I see that Leguizamo also does that too for his last play, which was titled Kiss My Aztec, which it's written in the Shakespearean form also. But I just love it. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You know, that flow. I mean, like Puck, and when I teach kids, it's like Puck had a monologue. If we shadows hath offended, think but this and all is mended, that we hath but slumbered here, whilst these visions did appear. You know, you can make that a rap. If we shadows hath offended, think but this and all is mended, that we hath but slumbered here, whilst these visions did appear. You know, then you could flip it. With this week an idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. You know, I mean, friends, Romans, countrymen, I could do friends, Romans, poets, lend me your ear. I come to praise the spoken word, not to bury it. But here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. You know, it's that flow. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? You know, that's in from Mark Antony and Julius Caesar. I just love that stuff. I was just like this. You see what it does to me?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love all of it.
Yeah.
And it's all in your work. It's still with you.
It's still with me. I think it is still with me, and it's in there. You know, it's Yeah, it's still there. And I just love it. It's the beautiful, it's the poetic, and it's so influencing. I mean, I think I have over 250 poems. So, and I see the influence of stuff. Today, I'll read you the nice and a little bit of this, but it's such an influence in my life. And I love the man. I love all his movies. I love his films. And I was totally intimidated as a young kid when you heard the word Shakespeare or anything like that. But if you walk around my house, you'll see he is framed like 3 different times in 3 different places. Yeah, William Shakespeare's up there on my walls. P.D. Thomas is up there. You know, and I walk around, I have those things around my house. Yeah, my house is very interesting. Frida Kahlo has nothing on me. Speaking of Frida Kahlo, can I read one for you? Titled
Oh,
Frida.
please
Here we
do.
go. Speaking of frames that are on my wall, I didn't plan this. I wake up each morning to an 8x10 beautiful picture of Frida Kahlo in my bedroom. And I tell her, Buenos dias, every morning, as she's looking back at me with that long unibrow, those beautiful brown eyes, and that half a smile that would make the Mona Lisa jealous. And I keep staring at her and hypnotizing myself again and again, because who hasn't been in love with Frida Kahlo since back in the days, way back when? Then realized I told Frida Buenos dias at 6:45 this morning, and now it's 45 minutes past 7. Time sure flies when you're hypnotized by Frida Kahlo, but well, I'm in heaven. With Frida Kahlo, I'm always in heaven. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was a beauty.
That was one of those quick ones too. Sometimes they're just there and oh my God. Yeah, she's framed in my bedroom. This is all true stuff. This is one of the more popular
Please.
ones that I do. People join me sometimes in this word. The title is Latinos. Latinos. Latinos are the colors of the rainbow. I said the rainbow, yo. Latinos are blanquito, negrito, trigueñito, and afro. Afrolistic, realistic, simplistic, always mystic, always real, really real, sometimes too real, always told we love to steal. So some Latinos become violent, so violent we grow violent, and almost everyone we know is violent. Others become angered, so angry and angered, some have become endangered, or misinformed, uninformed, and uniformed into the penitentiary, right into the next century. Others misinformed, uninformed, and uniformed into the war, turned into Uncle Sam's whore. Latinos, I can't take it no more. I said the U.S. military, well, we're first on the front lines, first to die, then we have to bury. Have you seen how many Latino soldiers are in your national cemetery? We're used in the U.S., abused in the U.S., confused in the U.S., and told we are less in the U.S. Come on, system, confess. We've been infected, rejected, corrected, and almost never elected, yet always selected to clean, 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 clean those filthy urinals and filthier stalls. We are the Latina nannies that wipe the mess out of El Presidente's grandchildren's drawers. Then kisses you know what to cut his grass for a visa pass. Latinos are immigrant slaves with eyes open wide and no place to hide. Latinos risk their lives to reach the U.S. and can't come inside. Latinos are young men and women who serve this country with pride. We're here, there, and everywhere. Tall, short, bald, and even Indio looking with long hair. We rock the baggy pants, love music and dance, and were born to romance. Latinos can become what we dream, if given a chance. We are Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award winners like Rita Moreno and a whole lot more. El Gran Combo, Willie Colon, and Mr. Hector Lavoe. Latinos are stars. Latinos are sports stars, movie stars, and superstars like Celia Cruz. Latinos influence people around the world like Orquesta de la Luz. Latinos are united farm workers, teachers, preachers, activists, poets, Borinquen, Puerto Rican, New Yorkican poets like Pedro Pietri, Pirito Mas, Avacha y Miguel Piñero. Y somos gente como Clemente y fuerte como los macheteros. Somos doctores y profesores de colores y ingenieros. Ay, somos bomberos, carteros, santeros y piragüeros. Somos jíbaros de la montaña y nacimos todos salseros. Ay, Misla Borinquen, como yo te quiero. Te llama Puerto Rico, pero no hay mucho dinero. Te amo, te amo, te amo y me encanta. Y en el nombre de Dios y poesía, Puerto Rico se levanta. Thank you.
Wow.
I love that. I love doing that, performing that poem. It just, usually I do that one at the end. It's either that one or another poem, but there's some that we just love. And then we just, they're like our little babies and they grow with us. And that's one of them that I'll change with the time. But I just love that one. Yeah. Yeah.
What other poem have you got?
I've got one dedicated to poets, and this is titled, We Are Poets. We are poets. We're at open mics. We're not that hard to find. We'll massage your temples, touch your hearts, and tantalize your mind. We are poets. We can take pretty words, put them in a poem and plant a mental seed, or we can take unpretty words when we're filled with rage, put them on a page and make it bleed. We are poets. We can put words together describing an aroma and make you think that page was scented. We are poets. The reason the exclamation point was invented. We write, recite, and perform. We never, ever conform. It's the way we poets know darn well we were born. Pushed out, performing and crying since birth, our hearts already broken and torn. But we, as poets, we can take pieces of broken words and turn them into spoken words and give a broken heart a fresh new start. Take a young child's broken dreams and mend them with spoken seams. We are poets, blessed and filled with words. We create with words, relate with words, transform and relocate hearts and minds with words. We say things like 5 times 5 divided by pi equal the number of rainbow stars in the sky, and have you ask why? We are poets, and it's simple mathematics times dramatics factored into a poetical third eye, and the answer in the back of your mind's book is even simpler. We are poets, ay, ay, ay. Love making, keyboard breaking, erotic poets. We can make a pen, make love to paper, and make it hum. Make words intoxicate your mind like a strong Puerto Rican rum. We are poets. From our hearts, the words flow through our tongues, mouths, and lips. Those words magically know where to go. In our heads, the poets of the dead are awoken. We speak from our hearts with the voices of the broken. We are poets. This much we know. We give birth to words, touch Mother Earth through words, and at open mics open our mouths and pour out our hearts through words. We write, then rewrite, then double check the last rewrite, because we know the last rewrite is the one that has to be right. We are poets. We share our breath with words, and we will write and recite till our death with words. We are poets. Thank you.
Thank you. When you said that it was only last year that you recognized yourself as a poet, when did you write that poem?
Oh, maybe about a year ago. Should be going on 2 years right now that I started doing the poetry again. I had about 25 poems, but now I'm in the hundreds now. But this is a new This is less than 2 years old. Yeah. No, I think my first feature was that Speaking Axolotl in Oakland, hosted by Josiah. Yeah, he runs the thing in Oakland. There's so many open mics out here. But yeah, the question was this one, I less than 2 years ago.
And now our open mics have become Zooms.
They become Zooms, and yes, and I'm almost zoomed out right now. I really do I'm zoomed out.
Zoom is not kind to poetry because it stops and starts so that words get lost.
Right.
And words are the whole thing about poetry.
I'm editing now with an editor. I'm doing all my stuff for a manuscript. I am as old school as it gets.
Oh, I'm so glad you're thinking about doing a book.
This is how old school I am.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm working with like an editor. I'm doing a manuscript, and my book should be ready before the end of the year. I'll have my stuff ready.
What are some of the possible titles of your new book?
One of them is We Are Poets. 20 Pages Past Midnight. Another one. That's one of my new recent poems called 20 Pages Past Midnight. Because I'm always writing in the middle of the night. I'm writing at 2, 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning. That's when this thing gets going. And I just got to get writing.
Well, thank you, Tony. This has been exciting and fun. And I've enjoyed hearing all these poems. They're rich stuff. Thank you.
Right on. And and there are so many poetry readings for poets out there who write poetry, who's never done an open mic. I just want to say the Bay Area, Northern California is the place to do it, whether you're on San Francisco side or the Oakland side of the bridge. There's all these open mics. Really, there's like over 25 open mics that people can just go for the first time and read poetry and just get it out there out of their system. Because I know there's a lot of poets that don't do it and they're really scared to do it. But I say just go for it. Totally go for it. It'll change their life. It really will. That one night is like, one of the things that made me happy is when the first time poet goes up there and goes, I've never read before. And you could just see the change that takes place when there's everything about them, and the excitement, even when they go back to their seat. And I just love seeing that. So I just want to tell people, if you're a poet, a new poet, you've never read, and don't be afraid, because all these spaces out here are such safe spaces, and the poets are really nice and kind people. It's not like a comedy club. You're not going to get booed or anything like that. So I just want to say, go for it to young poets.
Well, thank you so much, Tony Aldarondo.
Thank you so much. You said my name beautifully. Thank you, Nina.
Thanks for watching. To read more of my work, poems, novels, and translations, go to ninaserrano.com and subscribe to my blog so we can keep in touch and you'll hear about upcoming shows.